Well, before making the case, I think it's important to understand what impeachment is, because we do have a good many people who assume that if the president is impeached, the president will be removed from office. Of course, this isn't true. The House of Representatives can impeach the president, and it can do so with a majority of the members voting for impeachment. Thereafter, the case goes to the Senate for a trial, and the president can then be convicted in the Senate with 2/3 of the senators voting for conviction. In the House of Representatives, any member can file a resolution, articles of impeachment, and they will be taken up by the House. So at some point, I could file a motion. I'm calling it a motion because I used to be a lawyer, and I was a small claims court judge, so please forgive me. But I can file the resolution for impeachment. Now, understanding what impeachment is, it's important to note that to be impeached does not require that you have criminal charges pending against you in court. Andrew Johnson was impeached. We've had 2 presidents impeached. Neither was convicted, by the way. I am absolutely, totally, and completely convinced that the president committed an impeachable act, when he fired the FBI director who was investigating him. The FBI director was investigating the president, not some other person, but the president. And when he fired the FBI director, he went on to let us know why he fired him. He fired him because he was investigating him. That, my dear friend, is an impeachable offense. There are many other things that we'll consider, and I think they should be considered. I think the memo should be considered.
This is the memo Comey kept.
The Comey memo should be considered. I think we should consider all of the allegations with reference to Russia and how they impacted the campaign and, in fact, impacted our election. All of these things should be considered. But all of these things aside, the impeachable offense occurred when he fired Comey for investigating him, and he will have that haunting him as long as he is president, because as long as he's president, he can be impeached for that act.
You know, I think you really make a very smart point here, because so many people just look at the connection to Russia and they say, oh, you know, Russia hacked the campaign or Russia rigged the election or whatever, right? And it's really hard to show that. But this obstruction of justice is real, and he has essentially admitted to it.
He has.
And so this is not some, we don't need a big, I mean, we need to get all the facts out, of course. We don't need some big investigation of what Russia did and where they, what kind of hand they played in the election. This is very specific, and you could point to this is what the problem is.
It is perspicuous. It is intuitively obvious to the most casual observer if the observer will look. I think that people are looking for something on a grand scale, but impeachable offenses can be quite simple, and they can be easily understood. This is easily understood.
You're right.
Now, for those who say, and there are many who say we need to get all of the facts.
Many within your own party.
We need to get all of the facts. Get other facts is what they're really saying. We need other facts, and I want them to have the other facts. But this is indisputable. This is indisputable.
Well, let me get you to respond to one of those voices. Yesterday, we launched at CAP a new podcast called Thinking Cap. You see, CAP, Thinking Cap, you got that? And our first guest was Cory Booker. I asked him this very question about what does he say to constituents or members of his own party who are calling for impeachment. Here is Senator Booker of New Jersey replying to the calls of impeachment coming from you and others.
I think we need now be very careful that we who pursue the facts and the truth just understand that when you get to something as serious as impeachment, and we saw this with the impeachment of Clinton, to allow it to become a proxy for relitigating an election, as opposed to something that should sober us all, that a president of the United States has committed a high crime. I think that we all should have respect for the institutions to make sure if we're doing that, it has nothing to do with our partisanship.
Now, he does say that what Trump has done points to obstruction of justice.
I think that what he's done is pointed towards obstruction, but I think that we have to follow the facts now in a very sobered, objective way. I think the Comey testimony is going to be critical. What other memos does he have?
Now, how do you respond to that, this sense that it's too early, we don't have all the facts?
Well, this is not about the Democrats. It's not about politics. It really is not about Democrats. It's about the democracy. It's about the people having the final word. It's not about Republicans. It's about the republic. And Franklin said, you have one if you can keep it. This is about keeping the republic. This is not about something that I want to do. It's something that I have to do if I believe in the Constitution of the United States of America. So I really focus on the issue at hand. It is very clear that the president has committed an impeachable act. But I assure you, my dear friend, impeachment starts from the bottom up, not the top down. The people have to weigh in. I have consistently said the people have to weigh in. The people will have to raise their voices. This is something that the people will have to show their will on. They have to say, this is what we will. This is what we would have done. And when they do, we'll have the will to do it. This is not a question of way. It's a question of will, and the people have to raise their voices. So that's why we're having this impeachment town hall meeting, and I'm encouraging people around the country who believe that the president has committed an impeachable act to have an impeachment town hall meeting so that we can vet these issues.
By the way, the congressman is having, Congressman Al Green, his impeachment town hall meeting Saturday, May 20th at the Fountain Life Center in Houston, Texas. Starts at 10 a.m. Join him there if you're able.